Vidhammer Fantasy.
Welcome back to Vidhammer. In this video, we'll be covering a second round matchup between the Demons of Chaos and the Vampire Counts that was held at Darkside Comics in Sarasota in May of 2012. This was a 2,500 point battle line matchup using the 8th edition rules with additional scenario rules where the BSB can only give one reroll per player turn as per the Hold Your Ground rule, and the General's Inspiring Presence is decreased by 4 inches once it's wounded. Additional victory points are awarded for killing the opponent's BSB and wounding the opponent's General. The Demons win the roll for board edge and elect to set up on the left side of the screen. They start with a unit of 35 bloodletters, followed by 35 skeletons for the Vampire Counts. 38 more bloodletters come down, then 36 more skeletons, 35 plague bearers, 20 ghouls, 5 flamers of Tzeentch, and 10 black knights with a mounted level 1 vampire. Then the Demon's characters, consisting of Skulltaker and a Herald of Tzeentch BSB that goes in the central bloodletters, while Kairos follows behind. The Vampire Counts finish out their placements with a Terrorgeist, 9 Hex Wraiths, 4 Bat Swarms, and another level 1 vampire on a Coven Throne. For spell generation, the vampire on the Coven Throne gets Dance Macabre, while the one that's with the Black Knights gets Invocation of Nehek. Kairos is a lore master that knows all the spells from the lore of Tzeentch, plus picks 8 more from the standard lores from the basic rulebook. After deployment, the Hex Wraiths make a Vanguard move out from the battle line. The Demons win the first turn roll and angle their battle line towards the vampires. Winds of Magic gives the Demons 5 power dice against 3 dispel dice. They use 2 dice to cast Boon of Tzeentch and get 4 dice back. They use 5 dice to cast Pit of Shades on the Hex Wraiths with Irresistible Force, taking out 8 Wraiths with Kairos saving a wound from the miscast as remaining dice are lost. For shooting, the Flamers hit the upper skeletons for 7 wounds and 4 get saved. On the Vampire's turn, the lower section of the line angles up as the others keep pace. For the magic phase, the vampires get 5 power dice against 3 dispel dice. They use 4 dice to attempt Dance Macabre at the higher level, and the Demons roll 3 dice to dispel and initially fail, but they use Kairos' reroll to get an irresistible dispel. The vampires use their last die to attempt Invocation of Nehek, but the spell fails. On the second turn, the Demons straighten up their line, giving the upper skeletons the only flank shot. Winds of Magic and Channeling gives the Demons 6 power dice against 4 dispel dice. They use 2 dice to cast Boon of Tzeentch, but get double 1s, which would end the magic phase, but Kairos uses his reroll to succeed at the spell, and the Demons get back 2 dice. They use 2 dice to cast Throne of Vines, and they use their remaining 4 dice to attempt Speed of Light at the higher level, which the vampires are just able to dispel. For shooting, the Flamers take out 4 of the upper skeletons. The vampires successfully charge the ghouls with their Black Knights and Terrorgeist, while the lone Hex Wraith fails. The Bat Swarms charge the upper bloodletters, the central skeletons charge both bloodletter units, and the upper skeletons get a flank charge on the upper bloodletters. The ghouls move up as the Coven Throne positions to the flank. In the magic phase, the vampires get 11 power dice against 6 dispel dice. They use 4 dice to attempt Van Hell's Dance Macabre at the higher level, but it gets dispelled. With their other caster in close combat, their remaining dice can't be used. For shooting, the Terrorgeist screams into the lower combat for 2 unsaved wounds. In the upper close combat, the Bat Swarms hit the upper bloodletters for 3 wounds, and the flanking skeletons get 4 more. The central skeletons hit the upper bloodletters, but the wounds get saved. Skulltaker gets 3 wounds on the central skeletons, and the BSB gets 2 more. The central bloodletters take out 13 of the central skeletons, while the upper bloodletters take out 2 of the flanking skeletons, and 2 bat swarms while putting 1 wound on a third. The vampires lose the combat by enough to finish off the remaining bats and skeletons, and the bloodletters reform. In the lower combat, the vampire and his horse take out 4 plague bearers. The Black Knights get 4. The Terrorgeist gets 1, and the horses fail to wound. The Plague Bearers take out 4 knights and fail to wound the Terrorgeist, who thunderstomps for 3 more. The vampires win the combat, and 6 Plague Bearers die in combat resolution. On the third turn, the central bloodletters charge the knight's flank, while the upper bloodletters and flamers move up. In the magic phase, the demons get 9 power dice against 7 dispel dice. They use 2 dice to cast Boon of Tzeentch to get 4 dice back. Next, they use 5 dice to attempt Flesh to Stone on the Plague Bearers, but it gets dispelled. The demons use their remaining dice to cast Speed of Light at the higher level, giving the Bloodletters and Plague Bearers weapon skill and initiative of 10. In combat, Skulltaker forgets about his challenge as the vampire takes out 2 Plague Bearers. The Bloodletters take out 5 knights as Skulltaker and the BSB finish them off. The Plague Bearers put 1 wound on the vampire and 1 on the Terrorgeist that gets saved. The Terrorgeist takes out 1 Plague Bearer in normal attacks and 1 more with a Thunderstomp. The vampires lose the combat, with the vampire and Terrorgeist dying to the crumble as the Bloodletters overrun. On the vampire's turn, they charge the Plague Bearers with their Coven Throne and Hex Wraith as the ghouls charge the rear of the Bloodletters. Winds of Magic gives the vampires 7 power dice against 5 dispel dice. They use 4 dice to dispel Throne of Vines and their last 3 dice to attempt Dance Macabre, but the spell fails. In close combat, the Coven Throne and Hex Wraith take out 6 Plague Bearers who fail to wound in return, and 4 more die in combat resolution, leaving 1. For the other combat, the Bloodletters take out 5 ghouls who do 1 wound that gets saved. The demons win the combat, and 4 ghouls crumble as the Bloodletters reform. On the fourth turn, the upper Bloodletters turn towards the left as the Flamers advance. Winds of Magic gives the demons 3 power dice against 2 dispel dice. They use 2 dice to cast Boon of Tzeentch to get 3 dice back. They then use all 4 dice to cast Speed of Light at the higher level for both of their Bloodletters. In close combat, Skulltaker kills 3 ghouls, the BSB gets 2 more, and the Bloodletters finish them off, and reform to face the left. In the other combat, the remaining Plague Bearer pees himself, and the Coven Throne and Hex Wraith reform to face the Bloodletters. On the vampire's turn, they charge the Bloodletters with their Coven Throne and Hex Wraith. Winds of Magic gives the vampires 11 power dice against 6 dispel dice. They use 6 dice to attempt Dance Macabre that gets dispelled, and they use their remaining dice to cast the Coven Throne's Bound spell to let them re-roll their to wounds for this turn. In close combat, the Coven Throne gets 4 wounds in impact hits, and the Handmaidens get 1. The Bloodletters kill the Hex Wraith, and in the late challenge, Skulltaker puts another wound on the vampire but doesn't take any in return. The rest of the Bloodletters take the Coven Throne down to a single wound as it takes out 2 more from a Thunderstomp. They call the game at this point with a victory for the demons as they knock over the Coven Throne. Hope you've enjoyed this battle report. Be sure and check back for more videos each week. Do us a favor and subscribe, like the video if you want to see more, and send us a message if you have any tactics or matchups you'd like to see. Till next time from the Vidhammer crew, keep fighting.